What's going on, everyone? It's Sean with another Tesla video, and in this one I recap my cost over the life of ownership of my Tesla Model S 60 kilowatt hour battery, and I recently crossed over 125,000 miles, and I'd love to, based on your feedback, go over all the costs that I've incurred to own and operate the Tesla, and also compare it to an equally priced car. So I'm going to go with the Audi A7 Quattro, and the cost to maintain and operate the car, the difference between the two is just phenomenal. So I look forward to getting into that. Now, it's also good to know that I bought this car used at 16,000 miles, or roundabout. So truly, I myself have driven 109,000 of the 125,000 miles, but we're going to use that 125,000 mile as a good measure for what has the car cost over the course of ownership. So let's go ahead and dive into the screen share. All right, so again, my costs are being based off of the 109,000 miles that I've actually owned the car. The odometer says 125,000 miles, or it's actually almost 126,000 miles to date. Today's cost will represent the 109,000 miles since I have purchased it. So what I'm going to do is go through and just kind of explain the different maintenance and repairs that were made since I got it. If you're looking at the screen and you're like, okay, I got it, you can go ahead and fast forward and skip through it. All right, so when I first picked up the car in September of 2016, I had an electrician come out and install the 240 volt plug at 665. With the tires that came with it, they were summer tires on 21-inch wheels, and I needed to get some winter tires when winter came around. So that's what you see here, 21-inch Pirelli Soda Zero winter tires, just under $2,000. A lot of people in one of my last videos on cost summary notated that that's a lot of money, but it's really not. If you go and price that stuff out here in the US, prices for 21-inch tires are expensive, especially winter ones. All right, so here's my first repair in January of 2017. Before I dive into this, I'll just mention that a lot of this stuff had to do with early production Model S. Mine's a 2013, and they were still working out a lot of their production issues. Quality of parts really was a bit lacking, so a lot of the stuff that I brought it in for was just poor parts, poorly made parts. Rattling in the glove box, I had Tesla fix that with some felt somewhere in that glove box. It remedied that rattling as I was driving. Rear left door handle stopped working. That's a common one with the Model S, new and old. Much more with the old. Right side mirror broken, 400 and 250. My wife backed the car into the garage, and the right mirror clipped the side of the garage. So that's the cost to fix and install the new one. Front right door opens by itself when put into park. It was a real strange one. I took it in, and they did some sort of software update which fixed it. Right headlight out. They replaced that, and then a little bit, maybe a month later, the other one went out as well. Charge port light ring went out, not the whole thing, but just a couple of LEDs in the ring, but they replaced the whole thing. Charge cable port not opening. I think that had to do more with an issue of just corrosion, so they replaced the magnet in there that opens and closes it. Now, this is not the one that has the motor in it that opens and closes on its own. This is just purely magnetic. Condensation in right brake light, pretty common one in early Model S's. They just replaced that and haven't had the issue since. Creaking sound in sunroof. I think they did some oiling and lubing of the sunroof. I believe they also put some felt up in there, and that fixed the issue there. Interior front piece held by Velcro coming off. There's a section that covers up a piece of the actual frame of the car, and it was coming off, so they just reapplied some glue to the back of one of the Velcro pieces. Left scroll wheel and steering wheel stopped working. It just, when I would scroll the wheel, it wasn't registering any movement, so they replaced that. That part took a little while to replace, maybe a month or two before they got the part in. 19-inch Goodyear Eagle tires and slipstream wheels. At this point, I was really noticing how fast the tires would wear on 21-inch wheels, so I decided to switch to 19-inch and went with the Tesla suggested Goodyear Eagle tires. They're all-season tires, and then I also dropped down to 19-inch slipstream wheels, which I'm really glad I did, because it made for a softer ride, and the tires seem to wear less frequently. Next, so that one was $22.63 and 28 cents. Front left door handle light went out. That's the light underneath the door handle that illuminates the ground. That one was $159.57 to replace. All right, so next one, water ingress on headliner. This was my first expensive repair that I had after warranty went out. The chrome strip above the doors apparently had a bad seal and allowed water into the car, which got into the inside of the headliner. That one was $13.67 and 22 cents to repair. They replaced both of the chrome pieces that run over both sides of the car doors. And then in October of 2017, I decided to take it in for the 4-year annual service. This is the big whopper one. This is where they do almost anything and everything. I did do a video review on this if you go back and take a look at the my previous videos. That one was $850. They do, they do a multi-point inspection. They also flush all the fluids and replace those. During this time, I was having some issues with my brakes seizing on the rotors. So whenever I would slow down, I would hear the grinding on the rotors. And so at the same time I did the 4-year annual service, they also replaced my front rotors and brakes. They did it without cost, basically, is what I'm saying. So it probably would have been twice the cost to replace the brakes and rotors. They quoted me at $800, so I would have had a $1,650 bill if they wouldn't have done the brakes and rotors on Goodwill. All right, next cost. 19-inch Michelin X-Ice winter tires. That was in December of last year. That one was about just a little over $1,000 to put those on to my existing slipstream wheels that I bought earlier that year. Those have been working out great, by the way. Very happy with them. And they do have a 40,000 mile warranty on them. So they seem to be wearing very well. All right, next one was in March of 2018. And this was the second biggest repair that I've had since ownership. They had to replace the front suspension, and that one was just a little over $2,500. If you are curious about what exactly they did, about 2 videos ago, I did a video review on that. So total cost for repairs over the course of ownership of 109,000 miles was $7,690. Let's just round that up to $7,700 over the course of that period. Now, what else? What has it cost to run the vehicle at a very minimum? I want to talk through that as well. So, the average electricity bill to charge my car, I've estimated at about $118 per month. If I run that out over the course of the 19 months that I've owned the car, it has cost me to charge at home $2,239.91. Now, that's not my entire charging, because over the course of that 109,000 miles, I've actually driven about 32,000 kilowatt hours worth. So basically what that means is I've supplemented some of my driving with Tesla supercharging. So if I were to have done all 32,000 kilowatt hours of charging at home at 11 cents per kilowatt hour, it would have cost me $3,520. So Tesla has subsidized my cost by about $1,280. So Tesla, thank you for supercharging for free. Grand total for 109,000 miles of ownership so far has been just under $10,000. Now, the last time I did one of these videos, I got a lot of feedback saying, hey, you should compare this to a like car. I think when I did this cost comparison video last, it was comparing it to the previous car that I had, a Subaru Legacy, and many of you said, hey, that's not comparing apples to apples. You should compare it to a like-priced car. So that's exactly what I did in this second sheet here. I compared it to the Audi A7 Quattro. So I've taken the cost to fuel, just talking about the cost to power the car. For the Tesla, it's electricity. For the Audi, it's gas, premium gasoline, oil changes, and transmission fluid changes. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. Here's what we got here for the Audi A7 Quattro. It's a 19.8 gallon tank. Total miles per tank of gas is 455. Man, I'd love to get that in my Model S. Cost per tank, $61. Oil change, $125. Transmission fluid change, $175. Now, I can hear many of you thinking and about to write in the comments, well, I can get it for a lot cheaper, or I can do it for a lot cheaper. Here's what it would cost if I took it to the Audi dealership. I realize that costs vary depending on region, but you can do your own math if you're really that particular about it. Okay, so you can see here that over the course of 109,000 miles, which is comparing it exactly to the miles that I've driven so far in the Model S, I would have filled up the gas tank 240 times. So based on that, the cost of fuel over 109,000 miles would be $14,613. Yowza. Cost to oil change, based off of $125 per oil change every 5,000 miles. I'll show you the formula. You can look up here just so you know where I'm coming from. $2,725. Transmission fluid change, I used every 30,000 miles, and that one was $636 over the course of that same time period. So grand total, $17,974. So when I look at the cost comparison alone, just to fuel and power the car, the Model S is far less expensive. Even if you were to bump this up to, let's say, 100D, yeah, I mean, you're maybe looking at an additional 5% or so. Still, far less expensive to own a Tesla versus a comparable luxury car. There you have it. That's the summary of how much it's cost me to own and operate my Tesla over the 125,000 miles on the odometer and 109,000 miles that I've actually put on the car. What are your thoughts? Were you surprised? Is it more expensive than you thought? Less expensive? I'm actually quite surprised at how much it costs to run an equally priced gasoline car like the Audi A7 Quattro. What do you think? Also, would you like for me to share the link to this spreadsheet so you can look through it a little bit more in detail? Put that in the comments, and if I see enough people interested in it, I'll share the link in the video description. That's it for this video. If you are in the market for a new S or X, my referral code is down below. Even if you're not in the market for one of those, you can still have a little bit of fun. If you click that same referral link, you can sign up to win a test drive in Tesla's semi-truck. If we get selected, I'll get to meet you in person. They'll probably do that at the test track in Hawthorne, California, or is it actually Fremont, California? Yeah, I think it's Fremont, California. So go ahead and enter yourself in to win a test drive, and I'll see you on the next video.